Grab your master swords and bottle those fairies. Today we're talking Legend of Zelda.
Let's geek out.
Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks. I'm PK.
And I'm Bozer.
And today we have a very special guest.
Artie.
Hooray!
You might remember Artie from our C2E2 wrap-ups. Because thank you so much for hanging out with us all weekend long.
It was such a great time.
Did you have a blast?
Oh, the best.
What was like one of your highlights of the weekend?
Oh, too many. It's gonna sound cheesy, hanging out with you guys.
Oh.
Getting to meet you. It was such a great time.
Pay him, PK.
Well, we've hung out way too often.
Many. We have game nights all the time.
All the time, every week. So.
But that was the first time I got to like meet you, and even from the group chat that we had started before, I was like really geeked out about meeting Artie and your wife Deanna, who's off camera. Hello. Say hi. There she is. Yeah.
But you, before all of that, before you even knew him, we've always had this big connection on Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
So that's why I knew I had to have Artie on for this episode in particular.
I actually asked you. Like,
yes.
I was watching your, I think, 4th episode, and I was like, bro, I'm loving them. By the way, call dibs on the Legend of Zelda episode. Like, I have to be there. So.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite Legend of Zelda? We'll just start right.
Oh wow, from the get go.
We're gonna
You
smack
are
it right here.
jumping down the list.
No.
PK.
I thought about this list and I want to switch those two.
Okay.
I wrote that. I wrote the
Okay.
list. I can go off script if I want to.
If we're just getting right to it, and Deanna, my wife's getting really excited right now because she knows what I'm gonna say next. Personally, A Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda. I have a very personal connection with that game. It's so retro, it's slick, it's so like smooth. I love it. The design of it, just everything about that game is so great. Are you looking it up right now?
Yes.
I was watching it. You were mouthing it. You weren't even hiding it. You're like,
Okay, full disclosure.
the
The only reference I have to Zelda is watching Nick Goldie, shout out, when I was like 7 in his basement play the Ocarina of Time on N64.
Yeah.
And you never let me play because I didn't know what I was doing. But I've never actually played a Legend of Zelda. I don't know if you can tell from my OP props that I bought on Amazon.
And that's 100% okay.
So-
yeah.
So you'll be educating me a lot as you talk, and I'm gonna be over here Googling, pretending that I know, but it's gonna be a huge educational experience. So, Link to the Past, go.
Honestly, what I aim to do here with you guys is to get people to love Zelda as much as any one of us, because I think Zelda is one of those titles in video game history that has just created like a legend of itself, pun intended. It's so it's so revolutionary. It speaks to everyone on a personal level.
Yeah.
And I really hope after today you go, ooh, that one sounded fun. I'm gonna buy it, or I'm gonna borrow it. I'm gonna play it.
I don't have any Nintendo systems except for like old school Game Boy Color or
Brothers,
something.
We have systems to borrow.
Do you have? I'm sure you do. Can you give me that paper real quick?
But even though I've never actually played a Zelda,
Beautiful,
Zelda is
thank
still
you.
something that I can like. I appreciate that, and I love the artwork. I love the story. Like even when I play like The Witcher.
Sure.
I can recognize this feels a lot like Zelda because I've seen like Breath of the Wild and I've seen original Ocarina, not original, N64 Ocarina of Time, my original in my life.
For sure.
And so it does have that legend, and I mean it's been around since '87.
Yeah, it is a classic on its own. For those who are wondering, what I wrote here was by the end of the episode, I'm gonna ask you which one you think interests you the most, and I wrote down what I think you're gonna say on this piece of paper.
Mentalist PK.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is gonna be like magic. If you see a cut when I start to open it, and then it like stutters, and then it says the right answer. Know that I got it. You know. It's
You
so
can play
weird.
at home. I bet he guesses yours.
Ooh.
Click below.
Oh yeah.
That'll be the title.
Yeah.
Click here if you read your mind.
We can guess what your favorite Legend of Zelda is. Click here. See how he does it.
All right, so you love Ocarina, or not? Sorry, Link to the Past, and this was on. It looks like it was what?
The Super Nintendo.
And then remade for the Game Boy
It's
Advance.
been remade for the Game Boy. It's been ported to the Wii, the eShop. It's just a fantastic game, and I don't know, the themes of it, the music. Oh my goodness, for a 16-bit game, it had such a soundtrack that as a child, it just kind of sucks you in. And that goes for all the Zelda games.
Yes.
The soundtrack for these games are legendary for sure. Like, it just speaks.
And I am a sucker for a soundtrack.
Well, and like Zelda is this really cool thing where the biggest, I think, overarching theme that kind of follows through is music does track through all of them.
For sure.
Like, music is such a big component to, especially the Nintendo 64 ones and the GameCube ones, where music was actually the driving focus of it. Like, you had to use music to unlock things, to like
with music ocarina, and you have to play those right now. It's
Right.
Right now it's up, down,
sure.
B,
Right.
whatever.
Well, and then Wind Waker, you actually conduct.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So
With a baton, you control the wind, and that lets your boat sail.
Yes.
No, I love music, so I mean I know that I would love Zelda. It's not that I haven't played them because I wouldn't want them. I just never had the systems that lined up with the games.
we should, if we get time, we should live stream one of them.
Okay.
We could. Bowser's first Zelda.
Aw.
Live stream coming to you. Wow, really? Okay, so, because again, it's off screen, Ray just said she's never played one either. I really thought you'd played one, which is
Never.
crazy to me.
I've never played.
Oh my god.
We gotta educate.
experience it together.
Yes.
And Naruto. We're like getting into Naruto and Zelda together. This is such a
Oh, yeah.
bonding
Have
experience.
you watched? I actually have watched like the first 3 episodes.
Okay, I'm
we are a
not that
little
far
bit
ahead of you. I'm not that far ahead.
And I
of you.
We're a
knew.
little further.
I'm sure you are, but
We're
I'm
still
in
the
that
same
awkward phase where, in all animes, especially like the older ones, like
It's harder to get into.
the story hasn't really developed. So this
get
isn't a
you
there.
Naruto
Getting
episode.
some
So
We'll get you there.
we'll get into
Naruto,
it, but
I think, is one of the slowest starting animes for me. Just because the first 5 episodes-ish are kind of rough. And then you get into, like, you meet Zabuza for the first time. And then
Don't.
you're like, anyway.
Don't
that's a long
hijack. This is a
episode.
Zelda episode.
Sorry. Hey, not my fault. Anyways.
We'll get into it.
But yeah, I'll link to the past. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it's just so great. I was gonna go into how like it did this honestly.
So do it.
No, because spoiler alerts. I really do want you to have that like magic of oh my goodness that just happened.
Well, I just watched a 25-minute full timeline of Legend of Zelda today.
Okay.
So I think everything's pretty much been spoiled for me.
Yes.
Damn it.
He does know that you get to be a bunny in the Dark World.
I saw that.
So
So
that
instead of
was-
turning into a demon, you're
Yes.
a cute bunny,
You
apparently.
get turned into a bunny, and then you find your way to
Wait.
back to the light world.
I haven't heard this
Oh
stuff.
my goodness, I'm
Nope.
so sorry.
Don't
Yeah.
spoil this.
Well,
Well, okay, so
you
spoiler alerts
see-
ahead.
Get
We're
out!
gonna have to, because
Spoilers.
that's
the
that's
viewers
what
want
we
to
do.
know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that one's awesome, and this is what Zelda does really well: is you can enjoy it as a kid, but you can also enjoy it as an adult. I mean, like one of the first 5 minutes of Link to the Past, your uncle dies right off the bat. It's an immediate death.
Ouch.
It's immediate loss. Well, I mean that's sounding really spoiler. Like your uncle says, "Stay here," and then he runs off to the castle, and you go follow him. And then you drop into this well, and then there's your uncle, and he dies. And if you like click on him, it'll say like he's not breathing or something like that.
In a
You know
Link to
what?
the Past.
Yeah.
I want to say
I
at
don't
the end.
remember that.
Oh, well, he was injured in the castle. I want to say at the end credits, you see him like hanging
Yes.
out with Link.
So what happens is
Yeah.
he uses the Triforce.
Yeah.
Okay. Big spoiler alert. This actually is the end. He uses the.
Oh, I remember this
He
in the
uses the
timeline.
Triforce, and he wishes everything back to normal.
Cool.
So he brings the king back to life. He brings his uncle back to life. He restores everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool. Yeah. So
I remember this, and I know the Triforce is the triangle thing that you can touch.
Triangles.
And you make wishes.
Three.
And
Three
if you have all 3 qualities, wisdom, power,
Yeah.
and courage,
Yeah, you have to have all 3 to use it.
then you get your wish. Otherwise, you only get 1 bit of it.
Whatever
Just,
you
whatever you-
embody.
right.
So, and if that person
like
does,
Ganondorf gets the power.
because he doesn't embody all 3,
Expert
it splits, and then the Triforce finds the people who do embody the other 2.
and it's always a reincarnation story, and you'll always find the 3 chosen ones. It'll always be
Mhm.
this courageous
I'll
youngling.
I want to share my thoughts on all that because as I was watching
Go
it
for it.
today,
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Go for
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So I was watching this, and I'm just like, okay, apparently the name Link is like John, and everybody's name is Link in some generation or other.
Well,
because the
only-
hero's always reincarnated, and it's in the name of line of Link. But does Link know that he's in that line of the hero?
I think some of them do, but like so Wind Waker. Wind Waker. This is where it gets super complicated, because there's one line and then it breaks off into 3.
Big branches.
There's the one where she sends Link back to his
Back
own
to his
time,
7-year-old
but
self.
that line still continues on, and that's where you get
Right.
Wind Waker.
Right.
So because technically Link doesn't exist in that line, he's a reincarnation. If that makes sense.
Think of Spider-Man.
Not necessarily. It's this.
I feel like
So,
the
It's
universe is-
complicated.
It's a little bit.
No,
like-
but what it feels like, because like generations pass, and like same with Zelda, like in her royal line she dies, and like 10,000 years later
There's another Zelda.
There's
that's
another
Breath of the
Zelda.
Wild, yeah.
And the same with Link, except it's always some like blacksmith's assistant. Like this guy has clearly
Yeah.
not
Well, like,
gained any benefits of having the lineage of the hero.
Well, and sometimes they're knights. Like, and certain ones are like knights.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, he's like a villager, a farm
Kinda
boy.
like a-
They kind of fall off. But like Twilight Princess
It's
Link.
very hard to track.
Twilight Princess Link is like the great grandson of.
Which, yeah. Which actually,
You meet Link from Ocarina of Time in Twilight Princess
which is so cool.
as a ghost.
Oh,
He
okay.
trains you.
Okay.
So in that lineage, yes, he becomes aware that he is a descendant,
Okay.
and he's informed. Like, you are the great grandson of the hero.
He's got
of
the
time.
Zelda Bible
Oh
here.
yeah.
Yes, and this lineage gets so.
Oh, I saw this picture.
Yes, this lineage is so complicated that basically Ocarina of Time creates a time rift where you become the world where Link saves, but like they're already in the future. The one where he does and he gets to go back to his own time, but Ganon's not sealed away.
Uh-huh.
And then the third timeline where Link dies.
Where he fails.
And then Ganon rules and
Right.
everything goes.
So again, on this end,
Ruin.
all of these people are not descendants; they're reincarnations.
Okay. Okay.
So they're like, because he's dead. Like, so
Right.
he never passed on his lineage.
And even with there being so many Zelda games, I honestly think that you can enjoy them and not even care about the timeline.
And it's kind of like
The
Kingdom
timeline is not
Hearts in the
necessary.
way.
Yeah.
Like I think you can play them all on their own, and they'd
For
probably
sure.
be fine.
But at least those games do
But-
kind of work off of each other.
Yeah.
These the most you'll have are references.
Yeah, this is widely debated as saying that this is just them throwing it together
like
to make
darts.
sense.
Like
Really, they were like, look, this is how we piece it together where this might make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that would make your favorite, going back on what's your favorite would probably be Ocarina of Time just because it's the only one you've ever had a relationship with.
Right, and that's I mean, as much of a relationship as you can have sitting on the couch watching your friend play.
and that's my second favorite. So honestly,
Okay.
I do think
So it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a really good
I
one.
did see some. I had a friend playing Breath of the Wild, which seemed super cool.
I like
I
Breath
did
of the
play
Wild.
that for a minute, but some of the controls I wasn't used to it, and it was a lot.
Breath of the Wild is the most
Is it harder
unlike
to
a Zelda
watch?
game that I think you're going to get, though.
The most unconventional Zelda game.
Because you don't just pick one weapon and it works. Like, you have to like constantly keep collecting weapons, constantly collect armor. You have to be conscious of it. Where on the other Zelda games, it's more of a driven.
In all these others, there's the exposition, there's the first temple. After that, you're off to a journey, and then temple after temple after temple, you get like the hook
There's always
shot.
temple.
Yeah.
temples.
And then they're all themed. They're all
shrines,
fire, water, whatever,
Yeah.
spirit temple, and then you get items that help you throughout your journey.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild throws that all out of the window and goes, just go adventure.
Well,
it's
and
the
yeah, you
first
could-
open world.
And you
Zelda.
can do whichever one you want in whatever order you want. You just got to get the four deities.
It's pretty
really
intimidating.
cool. Now, there are certain ones that are going to be easier for you, but there's no technical stopping you. Like, I could go to the Gerudo Valley one and do that first if I wanted to, because there's no weapon that I like absolutely have to have. And when I do need to get, I just have to go out into the open world and unlock them that way.
Yeah, those
So
are
it's
the
really
divine
cool.
beasts or whatever. Those
Yeah.
big mechanical things.
And it's been a struggle to find out if I like that one enough, like the other Zeldas, because the other Zeldas are so like
They feel
they're
they have a
nice and
Zelda
neat,
feel.
and they're like, oh, I got this weapon from the last temple that's gonna help me beat this boss because
Yeah.
big brain or whatever. So it's just I don't know. I like the structure that the old Zelda games.
I do
have.
too.
So
And then my favorite's gonna be a kind of close tie. I think with Majora's Mask taking it just barely, and then Wind Waker being my second favorite. Wind Waker is a cartoony game, but it's super dark. I mean, it's
Yeah, you
100%.
mentioned that in a
it's
previous
dark.
episode.
Yeah, which we talked about before. Wind Waker has this incredible feel to it, but it's very dark. But Majora's Mask has this beautiful storyline. It kind of has similar to Breath of the Wild, where you can kind of stretch out what you're doing, but you still have to follow the four in order. Like, I can't go I have to go do the Deku one first, then I have to do grass first, then I have to do I want to say you have to do the Gorons, and then you have to do the Zoras, and then you have to do the Temple of the Dead or whatever. So you have to do it in that order. But there's a lot to do, and you only have 3 days to do it. You have to slow time down. You have to be conscious of how you're using time management. It's really cool.
It's a really interesting Zelda game.
It's one of the hardest.
I want to blame that game for all of my anxiety because it's a really tough game to play as a kid. You get 3 days. You get 72 hours.
You don't sleep, luckily.
Yeah.
In game time, not actually
Right.
72 hours. But if you don't accomplish what you were setting out to do, if you don't beat that temple by the 72nd
play your
hour,
ocarina. And
play Ocarina, go back to time, do it all over again.
And nothing that you did, nobody remembers anything except for you. So, like, let's say, like, there's one mission where you have to, like, get this couple back together because he's been turned into a kid.
Yeah.
If you don't get all the way through the progress, you start over. Now you have to do all of the steps again.
Well, that's exactly why Papa Prime rated Majora's Mask on the bottom of the list. Papa Prime, if you remember from the Power Rangers episode, sat over there, Nick. He said, hated the stupid restart time stuff with the moon. Also, it followed Ocarina of Time. He wrote OOT, and for a noob, I'm like, oot. Sorry. Which might be tied for my favorite. Haha. WW Wind Waker has a unique graphical style and much better story gameplay. I'll scrap with PK.
We work together. We're gonna fight. It's totally fine. Here's why I don't agree with that. Like, yes, you have the restart time, but it made you very conscious of what you only had a set time to make your decisions. Mm-hmm. And if you took the time to know,
that sounds
if you play the Song of Time backwards, here's a hint if you haven't ever done it, it slows time down,
Which helps.
Or if you play the first 3 notes doubled, so if you play the first one twice, the second one twice, and the third one twice, it will let you skip time. So it's all about figuring out how to manage that and being smart about it.
It's
And
also,
Did you know that, Papa Prime?
Probably not, because you didn't give enough time today.
Yeah, maybe that's why you didn't like it, because you didn't slow down time and you didn't have time to do that.
Yeah, because once you slow time down, you can really get through it. If you put the great fairy mask on, you can grab all of the fairy parts. It's absolutely incredible. It's well made.
I want to say, besides the restart time and the anxiety-inducing mechanics, it was also creepy. It was very dark.
Yes, it was incredibly dark.
The creepy aspect?
Majora's Mask is easily the darkest. This is the darkest thing. Because if you don't, let's say you don't restart time, because the first time you do it, you might not think to do it. Then they tell you to, but like, let's say you want to know what happens. The moon crashes in, and you go and you see everybody holding onto their families and dying together.
Well, the scary face moon.
Yeah.
Like, why does the moon have a face?
It's a parallel universe.
Yeah.
They rarely, if ever, explain anything in The Legend of Zelda. You just have to accept it.
But like everything about it, like even the first time you put on this mask and you transform into it.
Oh, they do a scream.
You hear like a giant scream and like cracking bones, and you're just like, oh god.
Because you're like transforming?
Yeah.
And, it's
Because you're taking on the
creepy.
soul. Well, and that's the other thing. You're wearing the soul of a dead person.
Oh.
So,
Every time you put on a mask, you're like taking that
which
persona.
you don't recognize when you start to put it together, but at the end they confirm you are wearing the mask, or the first person you become is the soul of the butler's son from the very first level. He says, my son died, but we used to race. You reminded me of him. And then at the end of the game, you see him next to this Deku shrine that you passed at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And that was him. You took his son's spirit.
And every of the main masks, the Goron, the Zora, they've all passed away, and you're kind of taking this body or this identity of it and doing right by what they couldn't do. They failed their quest, and you as Link take their mask.
Yeah, you take
their
their
essence.
burden and you let them. You put them to rest.
Correct.
Oh, well, that's nice.
It's beautiful.
It's that theme is amazing. I do love that you're kind of continuing their quest.
You're
and-
giving them a legacy and
for
letting
sure.
them finish.
for sure. So that theme is great, but the rest is creepy.
Super dark, so dark.
And Link to the Past is not. It's so much more lively and beautiful and colorful and
Kid-friendly.
Yes.
Which one?
A Link to the Past.
I mean, kind of. It's
It's
still
still-
really dark.
They all have their moments. Even Ocarina and the undeads that give you big old hugs.
Oh, they start biting your hands like.
Yeah. So it's every game has their creepiness.
Legend of Zelda is just darker than it looks.
For
It's
sure.
got this kid-friendly facade on the top, and then underneath, it's just dark.
But we still love it.
I absolutely. It's the best game series. It's the best thing Nintendo's ever put out. I think they
Well,
should have been the face, not Mario.
And that's the thing. Is it's got such lasting power. Like we talked about any game that can last this long, it's got to have something. Like
It's
we
something
talked about
Nintendo
Mario.
does super well.
And it does, but I guess I didn't realize. Like I knew Zelda was around for a really long time, but I didn't see it until I was like actually researching it today. 1987 to today. That's older than I am.
And I'm surprised that it survived after
The GameCube era?
no
Or after Skyward Sword?
The Adventures of Link, the
That
second
weird
the
cartoon.
second NES one. No,
It's
the
a-
cartoon was rough too though.
It's a side-scrolling one, and it didn't fare well. But
It was
people...
a rough game. Some people absolutely love that. That's some people's like absolute favorite, and I don't
Sure.
understand how.
Probably the retro gamers that
Why
really.
not?
The
But-
first Legend of Zelda is incredible. I
They're
thought.
hipsters. Let's just go ahead and call them out for that.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. They're hipsters. They just want to be different, and it's a bad game, but it's fine.
Well, Preston Patillo, hey Preston, long time no see. He would agree with you. But before Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask was his favorite. But after Breath of the Wild, he actually enjoyed the idea that it is a open world, and that's kind of where gaming's going.
Yeah, it's kind of like Breath of the
seeing how-
Wild is Skyrim meets Legend of Zelda.
And that's why when I'm like playing The Witcher, I'm like, this kind of feels like Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I want to say Breath of the Wild is the only open world game I've actually finished, besides Fallout 3. I haven't beaten Skyrim.
You know
I
what,
haven't
you're right.
played Witcher.
And
But
I've never
Breath of the
beat Witcher.
Wild...
We just had that conversation.
Yeah.
I told you that Skyrim is so hard to beat because there's too much to do.
Right.
I've owned Skyrim. I bought it 5 times now. I have never beaten a single time. I've like maxed my level out on certain characters.
Really?
But I've never beaten it.
You want to do it all.
It's so hard to beat it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
so much
you get-
side mission. There's so much to do.
Yeah, I get you. And the same with The Witcher. There's so many little side missions.
You want to play Gwent? You want to do this? You
Okay, I do not want to play Gwent. No interest. But it's just like you want to save the day, and then you want, and it takes forever. And with Skyrim, I think I played. It starts with an O.
Oblivion?
Yes, Skyrim Oblivion, because I was interested, and there's so much reading.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this text, and
Yeah.
on my TV back then, it was like this big.
You're like, what was that? I don't care.
And
it
the
wasn't even
beautiful...
1080p. I couldn't read it. I'm like, this is garbage.
The beautiful thing with all these games, but even Breath of the Wild, is visual storytelling.
Yeah.
It tells a story by simply just you're looking
Showing
at
you.
yeah, and that's so beautiful. And then the music plays along with it, bro. The more I talk about it, the more I really just want to go and have you play one of these games.
Like, I really
I'm
want to
all
play Wind
about
Waker
playing
again because there was a ton of there was like a bunch of contextual clues. Like certain species from Ocarina of Time had evolved to adapt to their surroundings.
Oh, like in Wind Waker, how people became
That's what I'm
birds.
saying,
Yeah, because I know
Which
that.
Still, how did the water tribe people, the Zoras, turn into
Birds?
when
yeah.
most of the world got covered in water? When
Well,
they
I
thrived?
think it's just because like the monsters in the water became so large that they couldn't defend themselves anymore, so they
Sure.
took to the air.
Sure, Miyamoto.
But then, look, I'm just trying to help his vision. I'm here to defend his vision. But like the forest children become trees,
like
little baby trees.
leaves or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they become part of the Great Deku Tree.
Yeah.
And they live off of him, and they like literally evolve into little saplings.
Mm-hmm. So there is a timeline to tell. Again, it's more referencing than because this happened. You can mess with this, but don't really count.
Yeah,
Like,
please
each
do
game
not
is
depend
really-
on this. This is not necessary. Don't even look. It's too complicated. It's
just for fun.
Look how beautiful this
I mean,
cover is.
I watched that whole video today, and I texted you after. I said, "Woof! I totally understand everything now." Big shaking my head. No.
And the only reason I sent you that was because they do kind of give an overarch of every single game.
No, it's
And-
helpful.
Yeah.
I'm actually like tracking some of the things you're talking about.
Right, and I was like, don't worry about the storyline stuff because that's gonna go.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, like that's what this channel's about. Like we're about geeking out about things, even if we aren't well versed in it. Like, come on, tell us about it. We'll geek out with you.
All right,
So it's
what were
fine.
some of the other people's favorites?
Ashley Garnett. She's messaged us before. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks for always being a loyal listener and participation on the social media. She said, "I'm still working on playing." This is my fellow noob. I'm still working on playing all of them. I've played Ocarina, Majora's Mask, and Breath of the Wild. Of those, I'd say Ocarina was my favorite, and Majora's Mask was my least favorite.
People came in hurt. Maybe I'm the hipster. Oh God, maybe I'm the hipster.
She goes, although I loved Breath of the Wild, I felt like Ocarina was just classic. This is coming from a total noob, though. Well, Ashley, as I shouted at you in the comments, noobs are allowed to have opinions, even if they're based on very little. But yeah, I'd probably be with her. Ocarina's,
I think
it just
so.
feels classic.
Ocarina is the classic. Like,
There's a
that's-
reason why it's the highest rated video game of all time.
Are you serious?
Of all time. It's just up there. When you think perfection in a video game,
I did not know
everyone
this.
will have their opinions, but of all the reviews piled together, Ocarina is the highest.
It like set the bar for
sure.
everything else.
For sure.
Well, I mean, it was kind of the first one to do 3D gaming. It was the one that set, like, kind of like an open world concept.
Yeah,
It
you're
did
right.
time travel really well. There was a balance of having to bounce back and forth. There were puzzles that you had to think about to some degree. Aaron Hansen, or Egoraptor from Game Grumps, gave it crap because he said that the fighting mechanic was a little
There's
rough.
some dated stuff,
But remember that was the first time they tried 3D gaming, really, too. So
Yeah.
if you give all of those things a pass, I really thought Ocarina of Time, more than nostalgic, was baseline for a good game.
And I remember my friends would have like the player manuals, like the playthrough guides, and they would bring them in the library. We'd just like pour through them, and I just was so in love with even the character design.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
art's amazing.
this is such a well-crafted character with. It's like unlike something you've ever seen. It doesn't just look like a reskin of something else. It like I can't remember what the fish people are called.
Zoros.
Zoras? Well, I loved them in the thing, and I was
yes.
just
Yeah.
like, oh, cool.
As a kid, you're
incredible.
just like, oh my god.
Ganon, and then
Yes.
Ganondorf, and Demon Ganon, and
Well, and every race is super thought out. I mean, like, they each have their own lore. They have their
Yeah.
own, like the Gorons, like, you meet them in Ocarina of Time. I mean, you probably meet them in other games before, but, like, in that one, they explain that they eat rocks. They explain why you need to go in there and fight the dragon that's been summoned. They give you description after description after description, and it's cool.
It's a really cool
You
game.
get to dive into their lore.
So, besides what being your favorite, like, that we've talked about, the games or characters can actually mean something to you. So, when you think of Zelda, Legend of Zelda, what does that mean to you? What is Zelda? How does that affected your life?
Oof. Oh my goodness, that's a rough question. It means so much. It means a lot of memories growing up. It means music for one. The soundtrack is just phenomenal. I want to go ahead and mention this. The reason my wife and I are together is probably because of Zelda. Yeah. So, long story short, we did a voluntary service together, and one of the first games that I was like, "Hey, have you ever played video games?" And she's like, "Nah." I'm like, "Oh, well, you should give him a shot." Was Legend of Zelda.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and we had she's an
That
art
was Raven,
major.
not me.
Yeah.
I'm over here like,
She feels nothing.
She's like, I'm indifferent. I've
Yeah.
heard the story or whatever.
Deanna's an art major. She does a lot of cool stuff with jewelry, and she knows her art. And I was over here playing Dark Souls back in the day, and I was just like, listen.
Dark Souls.
Just
Talk
casually.
about anxiety. When you're talking about anxiety, I was like, oh no, that's Dark Souls for me.
And she's over here in the living room, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? This could be art, right? And we start off very, very opposite. She's like, nah, dude, that's not art. This is art. And I'm like, well, this could be art. I started getting her into Okami and Legend of Zelda and all these, like, really very methodically thought out games. And I think now she's more skewed towards I think we've met in the middle. They can be art.
That just sounds like such a line. You're like, hey, you're into art. This could be art,
This,
right?
this, and yeah, no, and now she's a total geek. Now she loves Zelda just as
I
much
was
as
a
I.
geek before.
No.
She's not a video game.
Yeah, because, I mean, you want to talk about geek Buffy the Vampire Slayer
Right.
over here. I mean, like,
Firefly.
Yeah,
Firefly.
anything Joss Whedon.
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yes.
oh my god,
Love
how
him.
could you not?
Mhm.
Uh,
But now you're into this. You're into all these other video
well,
games.
talk to them about, like how you actually got Christine and me into Zelda.
So it was her,
Who's
I,
Christine?
and our third roommate back
Okay.
in our service group.
Okay.
And we were just hanging out, and we were doing service, and I was like, hey guys, the symphony is gonna play in Philadelphia.
Symphony of the Goddess.
Symphony of the Goddess. They
Oh,
play
cool.
the Legend of Zelda music. It's a giant concert. It's like
Oh, that would be cool.
it's this amazing
see that.
orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, guys, we gotta go. And they could tell how geeked out I was about this. And I was just like, okay, we gotta save up money because we're service people. We have like $20 a month to spend on recreational stuff. But
Okay.
50,
we
but,
we still we have
So wait,
money.
did you guys just, like, not get to spend anything
We
recreational?
starved
outside?
ourselves. No.
After video games, it was like 20.
So we made a trip to go visit Deanna's friends in Philly, and we went to this concert, and it was so breathtaking. The orchestra was amazing, and behind the orchestra, they're like professionals, by the way. They have this giant screen, and with every song they're playing scenes of the game in the
Oh,
background.
so cool.
And it just sent chills.
I bet that took you right back.
Bro, every single game I was just like in
Uh-huh.
tears. I was just like, oh my goodness.
It was so beautiful, but let me tell you how into Zelda he is. Like, he wanted to go see this symphony so badly that he actually put together a PowerPoint and taught me and Christine.
I made these girls sit, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
But it was interesting though, like we loved it. But
So,
it was okay, so here's
as
the
you can
music.
see,
You're
the
gonna
first-
learn about Zelda so that you guys can actually appreciate it when we go to this concert.
Yeah,
And we
and
were
so
like all about it.
with
It was
every
awesome.
slide, I was like, so this is the main theme. And I was like, okay, with Ocarina, they actually have these little things where you play the Ocarina and you do the different things. And I taught them like all the Ocarina songs. And
Professor Artie's over here with his like
Yeah.
PowerPoint. He's like, got the pointer. Okay, so this is where it starts.
Yeah.
This is the first song.
And this
you
is
learn.
why it's meaningful. Remember that it's very important. Like,
Every time you hear this song, they're explaining the original gods, the three gods coming down. That's how you know.
It was actually like that.
That's
Yeah.
how you know the story's about to be retold for
Well,
the 5th time.
And like the conductor has a Wind Waker.
Oh,
And it's like
cool.
how she's conducting it is perfect.
It was so
Art.
good. We loved it so much. I think 2 years ago we went back and it was here in Chicago and we went for a second time. And
was
we
it
had-
amazing?
It was so
It
good
was
again.
great.
I think I liked it better the second time, honestly. It was
They made updates
because they added Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
And
they
that
added-
soundtrack is, yeah. If you haven't,
and they added a link between worlds, and like they added just enough variety to make it like really
New
special
and-
again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, while I really enjoyed the first one and it was like life changing, the second one though, I had actually played more games to where I got it
Yeah.
a little bit better.
Because the first concert you were like, yeah, I can enjoy this, but the second
Yeah.
you were like, oh my god, it's a Link to the Past.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and it wasn't until after we went to the concert, like, yes, he mentioned Okami was like my game changer to where I was like, oh, like video games can be art.
because that's
you
the
know?
Japanese style one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely
But-
beautiful.
A Link to the Past was my very first video game that I played by myself, and
And it's her favorite to this
it
day.
is my absolute favorite.
Because it's your first.
Right,
your
but it's
first,
also
and
the
it's the
most
best Zelda.
amazing.
Yeah?
It really is. It's
So-
one of the tops.
So anyway, after the concert, I started in on video games, and that was my first game.
And ever since then, man.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
And then we even had Zelda music at our wedding.
Oh, wait, yeah.
And I
okay.
walked down
Show
the
this.
aisle to.
His wedding band actually has the Triforce.
Triforce.
He's gonna go take it up.
Yeah, go show it. We're geeking out here.
Can you see this? Okay, it's gonna focus. It's gonna focus.
Maybe it's gonna focus.
We're gonna
Maybe.
look
Gotta clip it.
Look at that. That is gorgeous. He's got.
I designed it, but
You did not.
Wendy
Yeah, she-
at Hotman Jewelers did
She-
the actual work.
Yeah.
So
That is so cool.
So the gems are her birthstones, and I have my birthstones in her ring. But the Triforce insignia, it's always with me.
That is legit. Now you have courage, wisdom,
Oh,
and
and
power.
all three.
Of
He can make a
love.
wish anytime he
Make a
wants.
wish.
But I was talking to somebody because you're talking about video games. Well, we were talking about video games today. Mother of Two Lions, find her on Instagram. She's a cosplayer.
Okay.
She was Carmen Sandiego in some of her pictures on Instagram.
Oh, I remember.
And
Yeah.
she posted this really beautiful video of her sons. I think they were playing Smash Brothers or something. Sorry if I got that wrong. But they were just like freaking out, and they like won together, and it was like they were so excited. And we commented, I commented, but on behalf of 4 Geeks by Geeks, I was like, and they say video games rot your brain. Because a lot of times the video games get such a bad rap. They're like, oh, they
Time
picture
wasters,
us,
yeah.
in a hole in the dark, just like shooting things up. But for us that played like growing up,
Yeah.
like
It means the world to me.
you escape to this world.
For sure.
And Hyrule is a beautiful world in which to escape. And it's not just, I mean, there's a lot of great things that we could talk about, stats of like reaction and teamwork and problem solving and all that great things, but that's not even what I mean right now. I'm talking about just the fact that it becomes part of your soul.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Zelda, I wouldn't have been into music. I wouldn't have been into art. Like, you can ask Ray, like, one of the most popular things I draw is literally just Link in different styles, in different forms. Like, if I'm trying to learn a new art style, I draw Link. So if I want to draw an anime style, I would draw
Really?
Link first. If I draw chibi, I draw Link first. Like, whenever I'm trying to morph my style, Link is my go-to because I'm so used to what he looks like and his hair and his features.
And he's low key like actually great at digital art.
I've seen it, man.
But
We're gonna share it one day. You're gonna see it.
And then on the music side of it, I would have never joined orchestra or been into music if it wasn't for this. It really
I agree
burned my passion.
We were forced to join band in middle school, and
Forced?
Yeah. It was an art
It was not-
thing.
it was not an
You were
option.
gonna do it. And all my friends, they were playing like the drums or like the tuba, something like cool, and I was like, Zelda. I want to play the flute. Like they didn't have an ocarina. I played the flute, man, and I was pretty cool at it.
Is it flautist, right? Is that?
Flute? No,
You're
it's
a
like
flautist?
yeah, it was a flute.
So you are a flautist?
Yes,
I think I was like I thought I was right.
something like that. But
I played the oboe.
Did you really?
Oh.
You're a first.
Yeah. Oboe's the coolest,
One
bro.
other person ever who has played the oboe.
We're
so
rare.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not saying I played it well.
But
I
he
played
did
it for like
play it.
13 years.
yeah.
And it took all 13 of those to finally get adequate.
Hey.
I was second chair only because there's two of us.
But no, Zelda's a
But-
really unique
yeah.
thing where you know that like smell that you smell and you're like it kicks you back to when your childhood. Like there's that
Okay.
one familiar scent. I don't know if you ever had that.
So I already know like where are you going with this?
Maybe.
Smelly smell.
Well, no.
Smelling
but, like,
Zelda.
whenever I play Wind Waker, my grandpa was a truck driver, so I would bring my GameCube and we had like a TV, and so when I play it, I just immediately go back to being in this truck,
That
and
seems-
he's driving down the road, world's flying past me, and I'm on the open seas. Or when I play Ocarina of Time, it reminds me of the time where I beat it, and he was super proud of me, and he still like to the day he died, he would brag to people. He's like, my son beat Ocarina of Time by himself when he was 6, 7 years old, and no help.
I know.
And the guidebooks you were talking about were how I learned how to read. I would read through them, and I would run
so
to
cool.
I would run to my grandpa and be like, what is this word? And before he gets upstairs, like, you know what? I think I figured it out, and I would run back, and I would just keep playing. So Zelda was my childhood. Like if it wasn't for Zelda, I mean that made a huge strong bond for me.
I know. We're getting really feelsy here, but
But that's what
No,
Zelda
I'm,
is.
like,
Zelda
watering.
I
This
know.
is such beautiful memories.
Yeah.
and I agree with you. Growing up, English is my second language as well. And you're saying video games were rotting your brain and all this stuff. Video games taught me English and SpongeBob SquarePants. But we'll get to
That's a different.
That's a
geek
different.
episode.
Yeah. Video games, Zelda, Mario. We're playing Mario 64, and I'm like, I'm trying to read what the words are saying. I had to decipher them solo, and I had a little bit of help with school friends, but like, this is the reason why
Yeah.
I learned English.
And what a great way to learn, because if you get it wrong, there's not going to be anybody there to judge you, or you don't have any real consequences in life. You just may die or get lost or get frustrated.
Right, and you go figure out. It's like, well, I read that wrong.
Yeah.
And
That's actually really brilliant.
It was pretty frustrating though, because there
I'm
are
sure.
things that you had to know, and you're like, wait a second, I'm not doing this right.
Try.
Well, I gotta imagine
Is that a
'cause
common English
23
word?
is number 1. If you didn't know that, you're gonna be down there just like I'm gonna kill all of them. But yeah, so Zelda is one of the most meaningful things in the world of video games to my life. That's why I've got
Cool.
tons
I
of
had no
Zelda
idea.
stuff.
Bro.
Yeah.
And we got to get you into it.
Yes.
We got
Okay.
to.
So
yes.
just out of curiosity, just to know where I'm sitting, which of the ones we've mentioned so far sounds the most interesting to you? Like if we had to sit down and start streaming right now, what would be the one that you'd want to start with?
Is this where your prediction comes in?
Not yet.
Oh.
I can still steer
Because
this.
I might be swayed.
Yeah, I might still
Should
be able
we-
to steer the conversation. I just want to see how hard I
Well,
have to steer right.
Should be like rush around, be like, okay, well, you've seen the video, but still be like, this one did this. This one, that's the theme. Because they all have
I
themes.
think I've seen them. I've seen them enough.
Yeah.
Where I mean, Ocarina of Time. I've played it kind of by
Yeah, but like you see it by
Proxy.
proxy. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm big on open world, so and it's new, so Breath of the Wild is drawing me. But I've seen some other ones like maybe Majora's Mask, or I like the art style of Majora's Mask more than Wind Waker because it seems kind of too cartoony.
The cartoon part is fun. I'm telling you, man.
But I've heard good things, so right now I think maybe Majora's Mask is where I might, or Skyward
Sword,
Skyward
which was somebody
Sword.
else's favorite, right?
It was
People
actually
hate
Ruben,
Skyward Sword.
Your friend
Yes.
Ruben, our friend Ruben.
It's a good game.
He says
Ruben loves-
unpopular opinion, but Skyward Sword is my favorite.
Well, and Skyward Sword is actually where the whole franchise starts. Not
Well, yeah.
actually, but like in the chronologically, Skyward Sword is where the entire
Yeah.
series
And it's
starts.
a beautiful game. People hate on it because of the motions and all this stuff. It was so pretty, and
It's like watercolor.
Yeah, and it had a really
Is
cool
it?
friendship
Yes,
story.
it's super beautiful.
It's really
I love
pretty.
that art. But he was
Yeah.
saying because of the like character motivations, like Link and Zelda have a previous friendship.
Yeah, for sure.
So it feels like he has more of a reason to go save her rather than
Right.
just like, here you are, this is a job, go do it. And he's
Which
like, I'll risk my life for that.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And it was weird because like Twilight Princess, it looked like they were kind of saying that the farm girl might have been.
Yeah, Marin. Mm-hmm.
And then they were just like, well, by the way, now you're gonna go save this princess. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, where'd she go?
Yeah, it's like
what is she doing?
I'll agree with him. In most of them, it's like his duty. And this one, I was like, no, that's my friend. I gotta go save her.
Right.
So Skyward, while it's seen as one of the weaker ones, I wouldn't put it at middle of the pack at least.
No.
for
Spoiler
sure.
alert for the somewhere in the episode. We'll talk about it, least favorite, but Skyward Sword is nowhere near touching that for me. Like it's in the middle.
Okay.
Like
At
it's
least you're giving to the middle.
it is not my least favorite. I have like top 3, but it's not my bottom 3 by any means.
And the great thing about this series is you'll talk to anyone and everyone will have a different opinion. And I think for the most part, in other games, you're like, oh, you're wrong. Your opinion sucks. But with Zelda, it's like,
Yeah.
cool, why? Like, we have a conversation about
Right.
it. It's like, wait, what do you like about it?
I always love conversation starters rather than
But
just
like
the closers.
Papa Prime's, that's just a closer. He's wrong. Majora's Mask is not the worst game. That's not a debate. There are games that are worse. Like, this is period.
Reagan, you look so uncomfortable sitting on the armchair of that futon.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Okay, there's a beach bag.
A beach bag?
Beach bag.
Bean bag chair.
I was like, oh boy, I could go sit on an
The
umbrella in a
beach.
sandcastle.
Let me go. Hold on real quick.
Or a three-legged chair.
Don't sit on 3-legged chair that
No,
he
I'm
broke,
good.
not me.
I'm making sure the camera
Okay.
doesn't stop.
Well, speaking of risking your life, PK, you want to cue us in for our game?
Oh my god. So, it's called It's Dangerous to Go Alone. Game 1.
I don't get it.
No. So, for those who don't know, I'm going to explain this. In the very first Legend of Zelda, you get dropped in the middle, and there's a little cave entrance, and then 3 exit, one to the left, one to the right, one straight ahead. You go down to the cave, you get your sword, and the old man says,
Literally
it's
a wooden
dangerous to
sword.
go alone.
Cool.
Take this, and he gives him a wooden sword. And you take it, and you go. Now, we have decided in this game, in this bowl,
That's a nice bowl.
it's a nice bowl, we've put pieces of items, I'm sorry, I'm getting there, where Ray and Deanna have so lovely put items in here.
Thank you, ladies.
That we are going to use to save Hyrule
Ooh.
and give an explanation on how we plan to do that. Now, of course, it won't be fun things like swords and laser guns. No.
Don't show my medieval times logo.
Oh, sorry.
It's a master sword.
Sorry.
Avi.
It won't be anything like that. More than likely, it's going to be like... Well, we'll just find out.
Okay.
So,
We don't know. We've never
You-
seen these. We had them secretly write
yes, because
these down. So.
we wanted to be completely surprised. Since you are our beloved guest, I will allow you to go
Beloved.
first.
Let's do this. Just go ahead.
Yeah, just read it out.
Tanners used loincloth.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, some background. For those who don't know,
There's background to this?
Fine.
once in a musical, I played Tarzan. No! And so I had a loincloth. So that is your item that you are using to save Hyrule. Go.
Link style. I use it as a paraglider and traverse the land from point A, mountaintop, to B, to all the way down to the rivers.
This is going to sound super mean, but I don't think it's that big a land.
Or, like in one of our D&D sessions, I use it to fish. Come on, man. Do something
That's fine.
practical.
That's fine.
Yeah, I got a bandana.
I don't know you're going to... You gotta
Wash it first.
It does say use, so please be careful and disinfect.
All right. Round 3. The smelly smell wards off enemies.
That's it. That's the winner. Here you go, Straw.
Beloved guest.
Oh.
What'd you get?
A Krabby Patty.
Well, spoilies for next episode.
Okay, a Krabby Patty. So, I would probably, I'd make a really special Krabby Patty, like the deluxe Krabby Patty, and I would walk up to Ganon, and I'd say, And he wouldn't be able to resist because it's a Krabby Patty
Right.
Deluxe.
You like
Do you
Krabby
remember that
Patties,
episode
don't you,
where-
They go
Gannon?
straight to your thighs. Give him 1,000 of them, and he'll get so fat he can't.
You
breathe.
like
can't-
Krabby Patties, don't you, Gannon?
Misdirection. Yeet. And he goes after it.
And then, I just...
There you go. While he's distracted.
What was
He's Krabby
the episode? Was like that was delicious. I think I'll have another. And he like throws it up and eats it again. It was on SpongeBob. It's happened. All right, let's see what I get.
We can't stay away from SpongeBob SquarePants ever.
SpongeBob is everything.
Yes.
I got fingernail clippings. I'm not that clever.
Well, that's a hard one.
Save the world.
Yeah. How
Oh,
would you?
I got it. I'll pretend that I'm dying. And I'll take those fingernail clippings and I'll put it in a potion. And then I'll be like, oh, I gotta drink this. And the game's like, oh, not today. And he'll be weak enough that he'll go and grab it, drink it, and then choke on their fingernail clippings. I win.
Ew.
Anti-mushroom potion. I like.
Yeah.
Anti-mushroom?
Yeah, the purple one from
Oh.
the lost levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're going to Mario.
I had no idea that fingernail clippings were the
That's
secret
what
to
goes in
anti-mushroom. That's what makes them purple.
That's what makes. Ooh.
Ew.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
No. Let's do this. Ooh. A pet hedgehog.
Yo.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. So.
Except they don't go fast at
So
all.
so it's just Sonic the Hedgehog. You're like,
Yeah, I'd be Link, and I'd have Sonic helping me out. Bro, anytime I get in a predicament, he just have his little spikes help me out. This
Like,
is the best one.
he's
He
like-
literally gave me a pet. Like,
But it says pet hedgehog, not Sonic the Hedgehog.
man, it didn't say what kind of hedgehog.
what are you talking?
We know, where is he? There's a Sonic in here.
Oh, yeah.
We know that Sonic is nothing like what a real hedgehog looks like.
That's not true. He's got the spikies on the
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
But he's
But those are like so cute, and they just like roll around.
Not in Smash Bros. When he up grabs you, those things spike through you. So we're talking spiky pet.
All right, if you
I
want
like
to play fast,
He's
and
a
loose,
spiky boy.
you try to make the pet out of Sonic and see what he does to you.
This is my pet hedgehog, and we're saving Hyrule together.
It's like Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics. It's Link and Sonic go to beat Ganon.
Go to save Hyrule. I love
All
it.
right, you and Sonic. I think Sonic's just the name of
You
your
and Sonic down by.
Sonic.
utterly
Sonic.
helpless actual hedgehog. An empty pop can.
What are you talking about? That's fantastic. That's literally your bottle.
This empty.
There I go.
Yeah.
No, in the games you find empty bottles and you get to put potions in them. This
Yeah,
is
but there's a way to close them.
But it's like, you just kind of put your thumb, you catch a fairy, you're like, all right, wait, hang on, stay in there, cool, and you just kind of walk around like this now.
Yeah, whenever you need a drink.
If you recycle them, you save the world one can at a time.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, here's what we do. So, I don't tell Ganon that it's empty. Cannon, because it's a can. And because he's so thirsty of being demonic, he goes to drink it and he slices his upper lip on the raw
That's one way to save Hyrule.
can. And it becomes such an annoying nuisance. It's not like bleeding, but it's there, and every time he drinks something, he feels it, that he just gets so distracted, he couldn't possibly try to lead this world takeover, and he just becomes a troll in his basement that's doing this. Oh.
I got a fart in a jar.
But that's where your hearts are supposed to go.
You have a fart in a jar?
That's the
You go for the fairy, you get the fart instead.
fairy fart.
Oh,
That poor
release
dead
it
fairy.
in front of all of the bad people.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna release it on a chicken.
Oh.
You see what happens.
Could you, like, light that up?
Ooh.
Yeah. I'll just throw the jar up. I'll take one of my fire arrows and shoot it. Just...
But then you'd be down a jar.
It's like
That's
napalm.
fine. It's the end. It's end game. I don't need that anymore. It's not like I can save. I'll get the jar back.
We're doing more?
Yes.
Let's
This
do-
is,
I'm
yeah,
not-
we
I'm
got a
going.
whole jar
We're
full.
good. We're going
I'll
through
roll
all
this
Sorry.
is gold.
Alright.
Stupid can.
3-week-old meatloaf.
Oh. Is this like refrigerated or
I was gonna say, because
unrefrigerated?
if that's the case, I'll use it to heal myself. I mean,
Hang on. Please don't eat meatloaf refrigerated for 3 weeks
3
later.
weeks.
You cannot
Yo,
refrigerate.
We're talking Zelda. This is a video game.
No, hang
Simon ate chicken from inside castle walls.
Message or comment below if you think you can eat meatloaf 3 weeks later from the fridge.
But if you're in a
What if
video
it's in, like,
game,
a Tupperware?
yeah.
No,
3 weeks
it's
old.
3 weeks
That's
old.
almost a month.
You'd be able to like have it for maybe like
A week. I will give it a week. Message below the longest you're willing to leave meat in a fridge and still comfortably eat. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, you probably should have specified. There's fur growing on it.
Right, yeah, but at that point, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Eat around it?
What is wrong? This is
Survival of the fittest. That's right.
Whenever Kate goes out of town, that's kind of what other choice do I have, people?
3-week-old meatloaf.
He lives near a Jimmy John's, a Burger King, an Arby's, a McDonald's. Options everywhere.
So how do you use this perfectly edible meatloaf to save the world?
Well, you see, since I can't eat it, because that's shame. Shame.
Shame has been brought upon your family if you eat that
Don't let
meatloaf.
society
Yo, 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 yo.
geek out loud.
We're talking.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your hedgehog.
If a cartoon character smelled that meatloaf, he would not float.
And that's where it's going.
He would die.
I coat my Deku nuts and my actual Deku nuts, we're talking here, in meatloaf. And every time they explode, not only do they flash the enemies, they stink up the area. You guys are horrible, both of you.
The whole crowd is
All
going
4
nuts.
of you.
I coat my Deku nuts. No.
Next.
You're 10 years old.
Oh no.
Brianna's eyes are watering. It's not from the Deku nuts.
A ring box? Easy. I just propose, go yeet, and break his heart. And then his little hearts go bloop, 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 bloop.
Aw,
Dead.
Poor Ganon.
XX, I win.
I got a finger puppet. I'll just put on Puppet Pals, but like a viral.
Yeah.
My name's Link. I'm gonna beat you, Ganon. Oh no,
Link.
you won't beat me.
Link.
And that's how Link beat Ganon.
Ganondorf.
Link, savior of Ganondorf.
What's that ticking noise?
Tickle, 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 tickle. Hey.
We're going way too deep into
Oh, Deku nut.
Oh my gosh.
Can that be our new group chat name?
Word of the day.
Alright. To save Hyrule, I must use a Waluigi cosplay.
You won't know your Link.
Wah.
That's Wario. Dude, just put on the cosplay. No one will care to attack you. They'll think you're a part of their crew.
Just rip out the tennis racket. Wah.
Because cosplay's awesome,
Yes.
and Ganondorf respects
Yes.
He's like, what an amazing cosplay.
it. That is spot on. Can I get a selfie?
Oh my god, are you Waluigi? Can I get a selfie?
Are you on social media?
Like, can I follow your Insta?
Oh no.
Is it Deku Nuts?
No, please.
It's close. It's Artie's sexy panties.
Which one of you? Why do you know about them?
How saucy are we getting here?
They just have Triforces on them.
Okay, are these like boxers? Are they
Boxer
What
briefs?
do you got on? Okay,
Boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs.
I'm not showing you.
You have them on now? Do they give you confidence?
No, he's saving those for later.
They're the undies of courage.
I'll wear these just in case.
I could go multiple ways with this.
Please don't.
I think, I think Ganon's probably easily influenced. He probably doesn't. He's so busy taking over Hyrule, he probably doesn't get a lot of ladies.
I mean, he plays the organ, so probably not.
Right. So I just strut my stuff wearing Artie's sexy panties, the Triforce
Triforce
boxer
panties.
briefs, and I mean, how could he resist? I don't know why.
With a light bolt just straight to your face. I got a paintbrush. What's everything?
I got a paintbrush.
So I guess I would. I don't know. Like, paint my face.
Like what?
What color?
What color? Oh, red.
You don't like green.
I like painted green. She don't like green.
She don't like green.
But
You could paint Ganondorf happy little sky.
no.
and just
Oh no,
love
I got
him
it.
too.
I got it. I would paint a painting, right?
Yeah.
Of me slaying Ganon, and I'd put it in a picture frame, but it'd be like a deep picture frame. So then I'd actually be standing in it, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna hang this," or like having him killing me. So then he'd be like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Ah," and Ganor's like, "Ah," and then he'll hang it on his wall. It's like, "Oh, it's beautiful. I killed Link," and I'll pop out of the picture when he's
Yeah.
sleeping and just put a pillow over his face.
There is a game where you actually.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I think
A
isn't
Link
that
Between
the-
Worlds.
the
On walls.
portraits.
That's
It's
A Link Between
very
Worlds.
smart. I think this is the most well thought out.
Thank
one,
you.
honestly.
They don't all have to be funny. Some of them can be heroic.
Yes. Yes.
I would wait there for weeks if I have to. See things I can never
And
unsee.
A Link
Where did you
Between
get
Worlds.
the paint?
But
From the blood of my enemies.
I bet I know what you're eating for those 3 weeks while you're in that painting.
3-week-old
The blood of my
meatloaf.
enemy.
Oh. That's
Meatloaf.
not- Meatloaf.
And
Meat-
you would like it because it's
Wait,
fine.
the band?
That too.
Would I be eating the band? Or the singer? I think it's a singer. I don't know.
Next.
Frozen DVD.
Oh yes.
No, for real, Ganondorf would.
You just put it on the speakers over it. Let it go. It's on repeat.
That's his bop. I know it.
Could you imagine him? Just like, let it go, let it go. Just like, just in the dress, like, the cold never bothers me anyway. Just like, you just see me in the painting going, now's my time to strike.
That's an easy one. Yeah,
Just-
Frozen DVD.
Just like slide your phone up.
You don't kill him in real life. You just kill him metaphorically
Right.
on the internet.
Yeah, just go to his Instagram and tag him in it.
And then his
How did this
social
get
life-
out there?
Oh no, public shaming. It's the worst.
No, don't bully.
Don't bully Ganondorf.
This should probably. How many of these were you doing?
Okay, I've got 1, 2, I got 4.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't you just do one?
I got-
You got no, you got Frozen.
I got Frozen.
I got
DVD.
4. This is my 4th.
This is your 4th?
Yeah.
Oh my
This should be your 5th.
We're on 5.
This is your 5th. Let's wrap this. Let's make this the
Oh.
last one.
That you are correct. A towel.
Yo.
Waterboard him.
The fact that you went there so quickly disturbs me at a deep
I
level.
went with the wet whip.
That's where my mind went first.
This
but I'm
guy's like torturing.
Okay, backstory. I just watched Tag. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No.
Okay, so
Not
in
yet.
Tag, there's a scene where they're trying to get this guy who works at the dude's gym to like give up information. They offer him $2,500, and he says no. So he's like, all right, we're gonna waterboard you. So they tie him to like the workout machine, throw a towel over him, and like grab a jug of water, and they start to go like, this is too far. This is too much. This is too much. I'm so sorry. We just want some information.
And you went there
Well, yeah.
in half a second.
Well, yeah.
I'm just gonna let the followers and end on that one. Just know who you're watching.
For our younger audience, waterboarding is just surfing. It's another word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
boarding on the water.
Yeah, that's it. No.
Dude.
What you get?
But don't Google it either. I don't know. Please don't Google it. You might get somebody not so good knocking
Take
down your
it from
door.
us.
This is a better way to do it. A pillow. Same concept without the water.
Just
I need the pillow and the paintbrush to complete my action.
for the next cosplay, you need to have a paintbrush. Like go as Link, put the paintbrush
Put
in
a
the pillow.
I'm cosplaying as our podcast.
Yes.
You get it?
Go watch episode 12 to understand.
I'll have 3-week-old meatloaf and a Frozen DVD.
And I'll have Artie's sexy panties.
Who has Tanner's loincloth?
Oh yeah, I could take his one.
And you got your Deku nuts.
Okay, just so because there are more in here, I just want to know what they are. We don't have to tell them, but we could have
And
got.
we're gonna leave you with one.
Or you should do another, like, a longer version. In the, like, for a YouTube thing.
We could do that. We can. Let's wait. We can play. We can do it afterwards. We can play the game and we can just upload the game.
So down.
So, there's gonna be an extended cut after the episode. But for now, we're gonna wrap up. It's dangerous to go alone.
Thanks for playing.
Thank you for playing. Oh, but I want to give the audience one.
Yeah.
You get bobby pins. So leave it in the comments. We'll also put it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter if you want to answer there. If you're more comfortable there.
Comfortable.
Are you comfortable in Instagram? Bobby pin.
All the Fallout players out there are gonna be like, wait, no, I'm so confused right now.
I feel these are breakable. I only get
For guys that don't know, bobby pins are little pins that you use to like pin your hair back.
Cool stuff.
Alrighty. So we've talked about our favorites. We've talked about what they mean to us. Mm-hmm. We've played some fun games. Mm-hmm. Now it's time for so long. I'm just kidding. We have what's your least favorite Zelda game? I want to like put on too much.
All of them. I hate them. That's why I've never played them.
This guy knows.
So thanks for being a guest on our show. Artie is amazing, and he will now take the title of Bozer.
No.
Have a good one, Artie. You've been a good guest.
Just switch identities.
I'm gonna leave with my wife. Let's go, honey.
This is my house now.
Let's go.
This is my house. That's my dog.
No. Get off my dog.
That's such a hard question. I can't say least favorite because it's gonna sound cheesy. They're all really good. If I had to, probably one of the Game Boy ones, one of the weaker ones.
Seasons and Ages.
Yeah, Oracles of Seasons or Oracle of Ages. Between those two, probably Ages. Seasons at least had, spring, summer, fall, winter, and you had to play around with them.
Ages was just time, right?
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Travel.
It was,
but you can time travel, not be time. It's way more put together.
Of them all, those are probably the weakest links. I haven't played
weakest links.
Word of the day.
Bad horse. Anyways, one of those two. Just because they don't have amazing themes like the rest, they don't have amazing soundtracks like the rest. They're not the nicest looking games either. They aged well, but the others
not
are
as well.
So much better. Yeah. The rest are up here. The Game Boy games are.
Do you have like a bottom three?
Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages.
I'll give me one more.
Adventure of Link 2?
Yeah, you're right. Adventure of Link. That one's just...
It's bad.
It's bad.
If you haven't played it, it's terrible.
And if you defend it, you're a hipster.
I'm gonna defend it.
Have you played it?
No.
So the fighting mechanic is terrible.
That is.
The fighting mechanic is terrible.
Oh yeah.
The storyline is rough.
Huh?
Literally. So in this one, it takes place in like I think 100 or 200 years in the future.
Where's that timeline?
Yeah.
Princess Zelda gets put into a coma, and then it's your job to get her out of it. It's super weird.
Oh, is this where she's become a statue or?
No. That's it. That's oh goodness gracious.
My bad. Another time when she's
different time when she's been kidnapped,
put asleep.
No, she's literally put unconscious, and then you have to go get the Triforce to wish her awake.
Oh.
It's an interesting concept. It could have worked well, but it's a side-scrolling game.
I would say that if they remade it today, and they could put it in like today's graphics and everything, the storyline would work a lot better.
They're remaking Link's Awakening, which is a really good game.
Where the island is just a dream and disappears at the end.
With a big egg. But that's the best. That's
yeah,
the best
you hatch
of
the egg to find out it's like a fish.
It's a giant windfish.
It's a windfish.
Yeah.
And there's like, this island was just my dream, and then disappears.
Because you woke him up, it disappeared.
But of the Game Boy games, it was still the best one.
I find it interesting that with the Resurrection of Ganon and the Adventure Link, the Legend of Zelda and the Adventure of Link, his shield has a cross on it, which just it makes me think of like Link meets Bible Man. Any Bible Man fans out there?
Simon Belmont is here.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember some Bible Man. I went to church and found the VHS like deep in the archives. I was like, "What's this?" LOL.
It wasn't in the archive. It was buried.
Oh.
Hating on Bible Man.
Bible Man.
I'm not hating on Bible Man.
No, I am.
Oh, okay.
I'll just go.
Reagan's off camera crying.
Reagan's next cosplay will be Bible Man. With a sword of truth. And the armor of...
The armor was a lot of things. You had the shield of...
Go ahead. It's fine.
Shield.
I don't remember.
Don't lie to me.
But I'll still get more pictures than you.
Oof.
That's true.
The Sword
My
of
cosplay's
Truth
a week.
just sounds like it's from Sleeping Beauty.
It might be.
Probably is.
My least favorite is gonna be the Legend of Link or whatever.
The second one.
The second game. The
Good.
second NES game was bad. I didn't love Spirit Tracks. I liked Phantom's Hourglass. I really thought that was fun, but I did not like
I'm
Spirit
actually
Tracks.
really sad right now. that
I'm
you
sorry.
said
I
that.
didn't like it that much. I thought it was cool.
That's where like everything's connected by like a weird railroad.
Yeah,
the
so
music was so
all of
good.
no, I love the music. Don't get it twisted. But the gameplay wasn't my favorite.
You had to play with a stylus, and it was just
Yeah,
wonky.
you had to draw. Like they didn't touch on it a ton in Phantom's Hourglass, and that's why I liked Phantom's Hourglass. And then they super leaned into the stylus side of it on Spirit Tracks, and I was like, you leaned into the one part of Phantom's Hourglass that I didn't like.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. The music was good, the story was good. Because you actually play as a direct descendant of Link from Wind Waker,
Yeah.
and Tetra's great-granddaughter is Princess Zelda now.
I remember her.
They clearly described that this is because the guy who's helping you conduct the train was one of Tetra's old pirates.
Okay.
Alfonso.
Okay.
Yeah,
Something
so
like
it was super cool. But Spirit Tracks
That's interesting.
was just a rough game for me. And then oh gosh,
There's so many.
there's tons. It's almost like there's hundreds. There are actually hundreds.
How many games are there?
You know what? Hyrule Warriors, not technically canon. I don't like Dynasty Warriors.
I spent so much time.
I
on
like
Hyrule
Dynasty
I did too,
Warriors.
but I didn't like. There wasn't really much of a storyline for me.
No, but it's not about that. It's just to have
There's a
fun.
lot of there's a lot of fighting. I'm saying it's not technically a Legend of Zelda game, so maybe
it's not canon.
It's not canon. So in that respect,
But even then, it was so cool. Like you're just this kind of like
17?
night Link, and you have all these people from different
19.
dimensions
19.
coming to help you out. There's
Also-
enough. Yeah.
Sorry, I was googling how many games there are. In the main games in canon, there are 19.
I don't
In
remember
the
ancient stone tables.
Spin-off non-canon, there's another 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk
Oh.
about.
Oh,
those.
Link's crossbow
Ow.
training. That was bad.
We're talking main games here.
How about freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land?
Oh, I don't like Tingle. I told you I talked about how
Right into Tingle's balloon trip of love.
so
Decunuts?
nope.
Nope.
I talked about how I did that YouTube thing or whatever. One of the things I did was I played Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and Tingle actually did give me nightmares. He's such a creepy character.
In Majora's.
In Majora's Mask, he's the one that wants to be
A fairy.
a fairy.
And he's just like this green, like light green suit.
He's terribly
He's the
creepy.
pointy hat. He's got
Yeah,
balloons.
yeah, balloons.
We saw him at Con.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some
There were enough
creepy
tingles at
man.
C2E2.
And I was like, who's that?
I don't think he's on here. If he is, he's hidden pretty well.
He's pretty hidden, I think.
Um,
Either way, he's creepy.
But then he comes back in Wind Waker, and he's even worse. But he gives a very murdery vibe, and it kind of alludes to the fact that he might have murdered someone, and he's the only person that can help you beat the game.
And you have to trust him?
You have to trust him. And it's creepy.
I
and
might not beat that game.
No, but Wind Waker is my top 3 though.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker take my top 3.
Well, let us know. I don't really have an opinion because I can't.
But yeah, top 3, bottom 3.
Who are your top? Who are your bottom? We'd love to know. We want to geek out with you.
One more thing.
Yeah.
So you made your prediction of Tanner's.
Oh, I got it wrong. I'm pretty sure.
So, but we have to know, Tanner. Like, what game interests you the most, and where do you want to start?
Okay. From everything I've learned this whole episode, I think if I was going to start with a game, it would have to be
It's crossbow training.
Ripen Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love.
What is it actually?
It would probably be Majora's Mask.
Interesting.
I guessed Wind Waker. I'm be super honest. I really thought because of how simple it is and how it's really easy to get into. Well,
Why'd
no,
you think I'm
like
simple?
I would
It's a
no,
Samaritan.
not necessarily that. Wind Waker, I would say honestly for people who are just trying to get into it, Wind Waker is really good. There's no need to know the rest of the story. I mean, you don't really need to for any of them, but you sail the open seas. It's got this open world feel to it. There's like a pirate.
Simple.
There's a pirate feel to it, which I think is super
Sword
cool.
and sword.
Yeah.
There is this
Weird.
very like.
I don't know.
You feel
But
like a
where
pirate,
this one
yeah,
is
yeah.
like super overly complex, and I would never say Majora's Mask should be anybody's first because it might give you a bad taste in your mouth. Obviously, as it's given Papa Prime like the most negative opinion of it, and somebody else.
Though it does kind of, now I'm thinking about it, it feels like Dark Souls, where you lose and you just have to go back and try all over again.
That's why I really didn't think you would pick that one.
But you talked it up. You made it and the story sound really interesting.
I will say,
So
story-wise, this is my favorite.
okay, I like
There's
story.
tons-
I'm huge on story.
There's tons of different stories you have to finish off on. Sorry, I really like this game.
While
But
we're on the topic again, do you believe the fan theory, the denial, acceptance?
Oh, yeah.
We'll get that in. We'll get into that later when you actually play the game. Do
Yeah.
you believe in it? 'Cause
I do,
There are
I-
some viewers who would know what we're talking about here.
So the whole concept is that this is about so Link dies, and this is him coming to terms with his death.
Oh.
So you play the game as a hero, but someone some time ago made this whole theory going, guys, this is him actually dying in his journey like into the other world.
Oh.
And it goes through the stages of the game, and you go, oh, this is him being in denial. This is him accepting it, or this is him being angry about it, anger.
You could feel like, and your character does. I think it's when you become a Goron, everything is very forceful and very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
impactful, and there's a lot of rage involved.
So it's like
in it.
the
Yeah, and
steps of grief.
bargain.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like,
it goes
wow.
really well with the game. And
And-
when I learned about this,
yeah, and all the characters that you meet are all going through the stages of death.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Dabda?
Yeah, it's like
Something.
so. Everybody is going through this grieving process, and each one represents a different step through the process.
That
And so
makes
you finally
sense.
get to the end
It's really cool.
where you meet acceptance. And it was
And then he
super cool.
dies?
It's one of the most in-depth future stories, or
It's a
in-depth
very interesting
theories.
creepypasta fan theory. I love it.
Yeah, I do. I don't know that it was actually true.
I don't know, but they played it really well into it. The creators.
They did.
So
If they were smart, if they remade this, I would say that Majora's Mask should probably get moved into the timeline where Link dies as like a subsection. Like
Yeah.
this is Link's death, because this is an alternate universe.
Yeah.
All of these people have different names. They aren't.
Okay.
Like all of these characters exist in Ocarina of Time, but as different people. They've just been reskinned.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So it's really cool. So when you get to play
Yeah.
in this game, because it's the one you chose, just go into it playing a Zelda game, but then go back and go, oh, maybe he was dead the whole time.
Okay, I'll do that. And what system is that on?
Nintendo 64 or 3DS.
We have
Okay.
both. We can light them.
You can
for-
borrow mine.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll take 64.
What I would actually recommend though is you did say that you've played some of
Ocarina?
Ocarina,
Yeah.
I'll start
but
there.
because it's like
This is
it follows it
technically
pretty
a
much,
sequel.
and it's like the same art style.
So
and
start
everything.
there.
I would play it all the way through first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then play this
Gladly.
one. This one's not
Done.
my favorite, but it was still good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I played it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a really big perk to 100%ing this game and getting all the masks, because if you get that, you get the Fierce Deity Link, where you put this mask on. You only do it in boss worlds, but you become this like god.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which I don't think
Is
they
he on
should-
there?
It's not on.
No, which is sad because he's my favorite Link. Like if I was gonna cosplay as Link, that's gonna be the Link that I
Fierce
cosplay as.
Deity. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please just blow up the comments with all of your thoughts, good and bad. We don't care. We just want to hear from you.
We just like hearing.
Yeah. Did you have fun today, Artie?
This was amazing, guys. I'm so glad I came.
I'm glad you came too.
Yes. The beloved guest.
Aw.
The beloved guest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
It
having
shows.
me.
You are welcome to come back anytime you want. And you too, Deanna.
Well,
Reagan, you can wait upstairs. I'm just kidding.
Tell Harper I said hello. But as always, until next time, I'm PK,
And I'm Bozer.
and
I'm
you,
Artie.
and you keep
Geeking
geeking out.
out.